بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه أما بعد. Small correction to make that one of the brothers pointed out. The surah number for Yunus on the first page is surah number 10, not surah number 12. Surah number 12 is surah Yusuf. So that's a little typo right there, right here. Small thing, but the more we can correct, the better it will be for the future, inshallah. Surah Yunus is surah number 10. Okay. One of the sisters asked, a lot of the sisters ask good questions, but one of the sisters asked a question that I think is appropriate to answer now. We will have Q&A, inshallah, because I'm working to go through the book very, very quickly, inshallah, so that we can have time for Q&A. But the sister asked a question that is quite appropriate to this particular issue. She said, how do I know which of these methods to use? The first thing we want to answer is, all of these methods are permissible. So whichever one you use, you will not be harmed by it, inshallah. Like all of them are permissible. All of them are permissible. That's the first point. The second point is that some of them, your circumstances will dictate them for you. Meaning, I am reading on a non-mahram lady. I cannot wipe, I can't touch, I can't hit, I can't squeeze, I can't do any of those things. So my circumstances limit me to reading and blowing. Other than that, small tips. I generally find the spittle works best when it's direct on contact with the skin, and the blowing works fine over over everything. I tend to find that. And just through experimentation and practice, you will find that certain things will benefit you and certain things will maybe perhaps be of less benefit. And it depends from patient to patient as well. So that's a little bit of a generic advice, inshallah, we can give. Okay, we came down to the sifat of the raqi and the murqi. What are the descriptions, or what are the things that should be present within the one who does ruqyah and the one that ruqyah is done to? Now I want to make it clear, just so everybody knows. I don't recommend any one for ruqyah. Let nobody fool you and come and say, I am Muhammad Tim's student, I studied, he said, gave me ijazah, he said. I don't recommend anybody. I've had my fingers burnt too many times. I am only responsible for myself. I don't claim responsibility for other people, and I don't recommend other people. But what I will do is tell you what you should look for in the person that does ruqyah. Now I want to emphasize as well that self-ruqyah is the way to go. And ruqyah in the family. This is the sunnah. Going to people, we do not know of any sunnah for this. No harm, but at the same time, this is not the sunnah. The sunnah is you treat yourself, you treat your family members, your close friends. This is professional raqi business is problematic, especially in our time. Even if some of the Sahaba were well known for ruqyah, I agree. Some of the Sahaba were known for it. Like they knew, they had experience, like the family of Amr ibn Hazm. They were experienced in it, they had experience. But wallahi, we do not recommend you going to people, and generally, going to people will bring you a lot more problems than doing it yourself. So, what do we have for our first set of ayat? Allah Azza wa Jal said, after me saying, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, الذين آمنوا ولم يلبسوا إيمانهم بظلم أولئك لهم الأمن وهم مهتدون. Okay, I want to highlight here safety. and guidance. Safety and guidance. And when you're doing ruqyah, you want to be safe from the things that are harming you. Saved from the sickness, saved from the jinn, saved from the shaitan, saved from the evil eye. You want to be guided to do the right thing. Which surah to read, which play to go, what shall I do, when shall I do it? Should I blow, should I not blow? You want to be guided. Allah has promised this to a people who do not mix their faith with oppression. And the oppression here, as the Prophet ﷺ said, is the oppression that Luqman mentioned to his son, Ya bunayya la tushrik billah, inna shirka la dhulmun azim. O my son, do not make a partner with Allah. Indeed, making partners with Allah is a great oppression. Making partners with Allah is a great oppression. So the first characteristic that has to be present in the raqi and the one who is being read upon is they must be people of tawheed who worship Allah Azza wa Jal alone and do not mix their belief with shirk. This is the first thing. And this is the most fundamental way of protecting yourself. It is the most fundamental way of protecting yourself from harm, from evil, from the jinn, from the shaitan, from magic, from the evil eye. Nothing protects you like sihhatul mu'taqad, having correct aqeedah, correct belief. Not mixing your belief with shirk. I believe in Allah, I pray, I read Surah Fatiha, and I have a ta'weether on my neck. الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَلَمْ يَلْبِسُوا إِيمَانَهُمْ بِظُلْمٍ. They don't mix up that tawheed, that oneness of Allah with shirk. They are the people who will be safe. They are the people who will be guided. And this ayah, in my opinion, is the single most important ayah in the topic of the description of the raqi and the murqi, the one who is read upon. This for me is the single most important ayah. The correctness of a person's belief. And wallahi, especially, people say that I'm slowing with ruqyah, I'm not getting results. Go back to your aqeedah. Go back and learn your aqeedah. Perhaps you will find in something that you learn that you have mistakes still. You haven't quite got it right. The belief in Allah is not quite correct. It's not quite proper. Shaitan has put something in there, mixed something in there. The best way to improve the quality of your ruqyah, go and study your aqeedah. Go and study your belief. Go and study who is Allah, Allah's names and attributes, and what we believe about them. And this brings me on to the next hadith, and it was mentioned in the Jum'ah khutbah. أَمَّا يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَى. The next ayah. أَمَّا يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَى وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ وَيَجْعَلَكُمْ خُلَفَاءَ الْأَرْضِ أَإِلَهٌ مَعَ اللَّهِ قَلِيلًا مَا تَذَكَّرُونَ. Who is it that answers the one in desperate need when he calls upon him and removes evil? Who is it that removes evil and places you in authority on the earth? Is there a God with Allah? Little do you remember. The right belief. Believing that Allah is the one that removes the evil. This is the purpose of this ayah. This ayah, I included it for the point of proving that one of the conditions of the raqi and the one who is read upon is that they believe firmly that Allah is the one who yakshifu su', He removes evil. As Allah Azza wa Jalla said, وَإِن يَمْسَسْكَ اللَّهُ بِضُرٍّ فَلَا كَاشِفَ لَهُ إِلَّا هُ وَإِن يُرِدْكَ بِخَيْرٍ فَلَا رَادَ لِفَضْلِهِ. Allah Azza wa Jalla said, if Allah touches you with harm, no one can remove it but Him. And if He touches you with good, He is able to do all things. Then if He touches you with good, there is nobody that can reject that good. There is nobody that can stop that good from happening. This is the belief. This belief will save you from the jinn, from the magicians, from the evil eye, from the shaitan, from your own nafs. It will save you wholeheartedly. And it has the lion's share of safety, meaning the vast majority of what you need to be safe is found in that. And as Allah Azza wa Jal said, وَلَقَدْ أُوحِيَ إِلَيْكَ وَإِلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكَ لَإِنْ أَشْرَكْتَ لَيَحْبَطَنَّ عَمَلُكَ وَلَتَكُونَنَّ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. And it has been revealed to you, O Muhammad, and those who came before you, that if you had made a partner with Allah, we would have destroyed your deeds. Why did I include this? Because of the issue of destroying the deeds. Destroying the deeds means your ruqyah will not work. Your curing will not happen because you made a partner with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this next hadith explains to us the problem is it might be very subtle. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, إِنَّ أَخْوَفُ مَا أَخَافُ عَلَيْكُمُ الشِّرْكُ الْأَصْغَرُ قالوا وما الشرك الأصغر يا رسول الله قال الرياء يقول الله عز وجل لهم يوم القيامة إذا جزي الناس بأعمالهم اذهبوا إلى الذين كنتم تراءون في الدنيا فانظروا هل تجدون عندهم جزاء. The Prophet ﷺ said, the thing that I fear for you, the Sahaba, for you I fear for the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, is the minor shirk, the lesser shirk. They said, what is lesser shirk, O Messenger of Allah? He said, showing off. Allah, mighty and majestic, will say to them on the day of judgment when the people are rewarded for their deeds, go to the people that you used to show off in front of in the worldly life and see if you find any reward with them. It's very important, ikhwan. We have to completely remove anything that can get us even near to making a partner with Allah. Anything that might resemble making a partner with Allah. We have to get rid of it. We have to remove it completely from beginning to end so that our ruqyah can be effective. Otherwise, لَيَحْبَطَنَّ عَمَلُكَ, your deeds will be wiped out. No ruqyah, no iman, no protection. So this is extremely important. And ikhlas, doing things for the sake of Allah. وَمَا أُمِرُوا إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ حُنَفَاءَ وَيُقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَيُؤْتُوا الزَّكَاةَ وَذَلِكَ دِينُ الْقَيِّمَةِ. They were only commanded to worship Allah, making the religion sincerely for Him, as monotheists, and that they perform the prayer and give the zakah, and that is the right religion. Look at how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded us to make it for Him alone. And the Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ يَقْبَلُ مِنَ الْعَمَلِ إِلَّا مَا كَانَ لَهُ خَالِصًا وَابْتُغِيَ بِهِ وَجْهُهُ. Indeed, Allah mighty and majestic does not accept any deed, does not accept any deed except that which is solely for Him and which His face is sought. Now, how do we reconcile this with the ahaadeeth of Abu Sa'id and the hadith of Ulaka ibn Suhar regarding taking a fee for ruqyah? We say that the person's niyyah is that this ibadah is for Allah Azza wa Jal. And whatever I am taking is only a means for my sustenance, just a means for me because I have to work, I have to earn something. It is simply a means for me to live. The same as the da'iyah who takes a salary, the same as the Qur'an teacher who takes a salary, the same thing. We say to the Qur'an teacher, if you lost your salary, would you stop teaching people Qur'an? Yani I only teach people Qur'an because of the money. You try to teach people Qur'an, but the salary helps you to teach more people because you can give it your full attention. Yeah? Does that mean it's better to avoid taking a fee for ruqyah? For anyone who can avoid it, it is much better. Much better. And alhamdulillah, and one of the things I and my ruqyah partners, we have agreed since the beginning, is no fee. We never ever took a fee for ruqyah. If someone gives a gift, we usually give it to charity. Even the gifts we didn't take, because you know what happens? You say no fee, and then the guy comes with a gift. And he says, yeah, no fee, but this is your no fee. This is your no fee. And we say to him, Jazakallah khairan, but usually, in the vast majority of circumstances, unless there is some desperate need, we give it to sadaqah, we give it to the poor people. Because how can you have ikhlas? It's so hard to have ikhlas when you're earning money from this. And you've lost your ikhlas when you start thinking, this guy's going to give me more money than that guy. This guy is miskeen, yalla, your ruqyah is once a month. This guy is wealthy, okay, no problem, every day. Bismillah. It's a big problem, ya akhwan. Allah will not accept it. And the worst thing is your ruqyah will not work. It will not be effective. It has to be for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not to show off, not so somebody says, you are the qari, how many people have come from you and they have got shifa from Allah, and so on and so forth. Wallahi, we say we don't count the people who come and get shifa. We count the people who come and don't get shifa, so that we can correct ourselves and realize where we went wrong. And subhanallah. So it's very important that we strive in this for ikhlas. It's not so you look good. It's not so people will say you're a qari. It's not so you can get money. It's not so someone might give you a gift. It's not so that someone might help you in some way. This is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you need to take something for it because this is the only way you can put food in your mouth, it is permissible. But don't start mixing. And when you take money for it, it gets hard to separate between what is for Allah and what is needed, what is for Allah and what is done for the sake of the financial reward. Allah Azza wa Jal said, الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ وَيُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةِ وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. Here we want to highlight the word, those who believe in the unseen. In the unseen. Belief in the world of the unseen is a fundamental characteristic of a Muslim. And this is linked to what I said earlier on at the very beginning of the course, لا تقدموا بين يدي الله ورسوله. Don't put yourself in front of Allah and His Messenger. That matters of the unseen are matters that we leave to Allah and those whom Allah Azza wa Jal has informed, His prophets and messengers. We cannot, ikhwan, make a guess. Look at the people, look at what Allah Azza wa Jal said about the people who guess. رَجَمًا بِالْغَيْبِ. Allah criticized the people who guess about the unseen. رَجَمًا بِالْغَيْبِ. And too many people in Ruqyah are guilty of this. They are guilty of this. رَجَمًا بِالْغَيْبِ. Just picking the unseen, like just guessing. Guessing the unseen. The jinn are like this, you have this with you, you have this kind of magic, you have 4 jinn, those 4 jinn, one of them is in your leg, one of them is in your head, one of them is in your eye, one of them is female and she's in love with you, and the other one came from magic that was done by your second cousin, and the other one, wallahi, I will tell you one of 2 situations. إِمَّا يَكُونَ سَاحِرًا. Either this person is a sahir, a magician, or either he is guilty of this, رَجَمًا بِالْغَيْبِ, guessing about the unseen. So we do not guess about the unseen, and we do not get involved in speaking about something except with an evidence of what Allah Azza wa Jal and His Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said. Yes, we can use experience, but when we use experience, we're going to quote you that from my experience, the situation is like this. From my experience, it seems to me you are afflicted with magic. This is halal, permissible. I'm clearly telling you that this is experience. I'm not saying to you that Allah said and His Prophet ﷺ said. My experience indicates to me that this. But as for these shayateen, you go in front of them and he's stirring the pot and he says, it's magic. 3 jinn. Are there any kadhab? This is a liar. And in the worst case, it's a sahir, because that's one of the signs of the magician. So the one that does this, run away from them with everything you have. فَفِرُّوا إِلَى اللَّهِ. Run away to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to the Qur'an and to the Sunnah. قُلْ لَا أَمْلِكُ لِنَفْسِي نَفْعًا وَلَا ضَرًّا إِلَّا مَا شَاءَ اللَّهِ وَلَوْ كُنْتُ أَعْلَمُ الْغَيْبِ لَاسْتَكْثَرْتُ مِنَ الْخَيْرِ وَمَا مَسَّنِيَ السُّوءُ إِنْ أَنَا إِلَّا نَذِيرٌ وَبَشِيرٌ لِقَوْمٍ يُؤْمِنُونَ. This ayah is one of the clearest ayahs that our Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not know the unseen. This is part of our aqeedah, right? Part of our belief. That the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not know the unseen. He only knew what Allah Azza wa Jal revealed to him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed a piece, like pieces of the unseen, elements to him. This will happen tomorrow, this will happen here, this is happening now. Elements, pieces. But the unseen, our Prophet ﷺ did not know it. If I knew the unseen, I would have secured for myself an abundance of good and nothing bad would ever have happened to me. Clear proof. The Prophet ﷺ did not know the unseen. And if the Prophet ﷺ did not know the unseen, what about us? Min babi awla, yani we are more deserving of not knowing the unseen. So this ayah, I put it in here so that everyone is clear that nobody knows the unseen illallah except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So as soon as you get somebody starting to tell you about the unseen, say to them, ma'a salama, I'm going. Even if you are wrong, yes, might it be a good person? Might it be that person saw it in a true dream? Something like that? Maybe. But wallahi, run away. Run away because it's not worth to find out. Like the poet said, in the translation of which is, if you see a lion with an open mouth, don't believe the lion is smiling at you. It's a famous Arabic line of poetry. If you see a lion with an open mouth, don't think the lion is smiling at you. Don't wait to find out. Is he smiling or he's going to bite my head off? You see somebody start to tell you weird things about the unseen, go. Say to them, Jazakumullah khair, salam. Go. Don't wait to find out if they're a sahir or if they are just an ignorant person. فَلَمَّا قَضَيْنَا عَلَيْهِ الْمَوْتِ مَا دَلَّهُمْ عَلَى مَوْتِهِ إِلَّا دَابَّةُ الْأَرْضِ تَأْكُلُ مِنْ سَأَتَهِ فَلَمَّا خَرَّ تَبَيَّنَتِ الْجِنُّ أَنْ لَوْ كَانُوا يَعْلَمُونَ الْغَيْبِ مَا لَبِثُوا فِي الْعَذَابِ الْمُهِينِ. Wallahi, this ayah is, every time I read this ayah, I think how important is it? We all know about Sulaiman. And we know that people attribute to Sulaiman knowledge of the unseen and magic and other things. And this is a lie. This is not what Sulaiman did. وَمَا كَفَرَ سُلَيْمَانُ وَلَكِنَّ الشَّيَاطِينَ كَفَرُوا. It wasn't Sulaiman who disbelieved, but the shaitan disbelieved. In this ayah, it tells us that when the death was decreed for Sulaiman, the jinn did not know that Sulaiman had died, except a worm from the earth ate on his stick and he fell down. And when he fell down, it became clear to the jinn that if they knew the unseen, they would not have stayed in humiliating torment. Very important. That the jinn do not know the unseen. And you get this idea out of your head, that we can ask the jinn know where it is, the jinn know how it was done, the jinn know this, the jinn know that, this jinn will tell me, this jinn will help me. The jinn didn't know Sulaiman is dead and Sulaiman is standing in front of them, alayhi salatu wassalam. Sulaiman is standing in front of them and they don't know that he's dead. The jinn do not know the unseen. Yes, the jinn may pick up things we didn't pick up from a different angle, and we may pick up things they didn't pick up. Yani we may know things they didn't know, they may know things we didn't know. But this idea that people have where they give the jinn the knowledge of the unseen, to the point that the jinn starts to speak and off they go. Oh jinni, tell me where is it? Oh jinni, tell me who did it? Oh jinni, tell me, is it ayn, is it sihr, is it mas? We're going to cover the fatwa from the Lajna ad-Da'ima that this is shirk. And it's not permissible to do under any circumstances to seek help from the jinn in this regard. Some of the scholars allowed it with certain conditions and said it does not fall under shirk, and we're going to cover that later on. But the key thing here is we understand our belief in the jinn is a belief that the jinn are a creation from the creation of Allah Azza wa Jal. Let's not raise them higher than they deserve to be. Half of the problem, wallahi, I mean more than half of the problem, is that people put the jinn here. Even the YouTube videos, you see them watch, they have khushu' watching these videos that they don't have in salah. I mean, that the jinn is levitating, the jinn is speaking, the jinn is speaking. It's like a spider, you just put it under your foot and crush it. Like what? Like there is no, why are you giving the jinn this ta'zeem? This is from the signs of jahiliyyah, from the signs of the ignorant times before Islam. Honoring the jinn and raising the jinn up and making the jinn into this huge, the jinn, like big thing. Just remember when you feel like that when Sulaiman was dead, they didn't know that, they were going past Sulaiman, they didn't know Sulaiman was dead. Don't put the jinn above where they deserve to be. Bearing in mind that there are believing jinn. Allah ihfadhum. There are believing jinn who believe in Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But the same thing is we don't ask them, we don't seek help from them. Because this is madkhal ila shirk. It's a way to get into shirk. You begin for the jinni and for you. He's a Muslim, you're a Muslim. And I'm going to come to this later, but he's a Muslim, you're a Muslim. The jinni comes and says, I'll help you. And you say, okay, do this for me, do this for me. How do you know that jinni will not go into shirk because of what you are telling him? And you will not fall into shirk because of it? Because ultimately you're getting close, you're skimming along the edge. Like the shepherd who raises his flock on the edge of Allah's private pasture. Yushaku and yurta'a. It's as if he's going to fall into it. And if you didn't fall into shirk this time, then next time you might. It's a dangerous situation. طيب. These all came under the topic of aqeedah. All came under the topic of the right aqeedah of the raqi. And there are other points as well. Especially, I would highly recommend for every ruqyah patient and every raqi to study the names of Allah Azza wa Jal. We have a series at KALEMAH called Names of Allah, Beautiful Names of Allah, and you can catch it on YouTube, and it's ongoing, inshallah. So this is a really good series to attend. It will help you a lot, because when you come to know who Allah is, you will stop having this honor of the jinn, this honor of mankind, this attachment to people, and you attach your heart to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Also, what we can take from aqeedah is that the first thing the raqi should correct in the ruqyah session is the person's aqeedah. So when the patient comes to you and says, Allah, I'm sick, I have jinn, and they come to me at night, say, okay, bismillah. Can I ask you, do you have any ta'weeth? Do you have any tama'im, any things around your neck? Okay, you try to find out where, what scholars you listen to, what books you read. We're not trying to, investigate you, but we're trying to find out if there's a possibility that your belief has some mistakes in it so we can correct them so that the ruqyah will work. Very important. The first thing we deal with is this issue of aqeedah, the person's belief and iman in Allah Azza wa Jal. You see somebody doing something that's lowering their iman, you help them to stop it. You don't sit there like, okay, I'm going to read over you Surah Al-Baqarah. Wallah, I don't know why it's not working. And you see the ladies not proper hijab, not praying 5 times a day, listening to music, other things are going on. You need to advise, you need to say to them, look, if you want this cure, you have to have a heart that is ready to take it. For the heart to be ready to take it, we have to clean the heart. And this is why I say that doing ruqyah is a kind of da'wah. It's a kind of jihad, like Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala said. In fact, Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah said, min a'zam al-jihad fi sabilillah. From the greatest kinds of jihad fi sabilillah is ruqyah shar'iyyah. Because what is jihad? To make the word of Allah the highest and the word of those who disbelieve the lowest. لِيَجْعَلْ كَلِمَةَ اللَّهِ هِيَ الْعُلْيَا وَكَلِمَةَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا هِيَ السُّفْلَى. This is what the purpose. And there is nothing that embodies this, or there are few things that embody this as much as fighting the shaitan and the magicians and the devils who are trying to misguide people away from the path of Allah Azza wa Jal. And putting yourself in harm's way in order to achieve that. But in terms of the person's, as we said, the person's belief, you have to correct your own belief, you have to correct the belief of the people around you, and it's a type of da'wah. It's a type of da'wah. Because you are there, you are calling people to the truth. You see somebody Wallah, people come to me who would never come to my lectures. People come to me for Ruqyah, who would never come to me in a lecture. And this person is from a group of the Muslims who don't like me at all. They have hatred and they don't follow Sunnah and they have a lot of bad things in their belief. Wallah, in Ruqyah, they will come and sit in front of you and say, Sheikh, doesn't matter if you're Sheikh or not Sheikh, they will still, Sheikh, please give us a Ruqyah. We're desperate. What a chance. You have a chance to change this person's belief. See, I will give you a Ruqyah. Exactly like who? Who did this? Which prophet did this? Yusuf in the Ya Sahib Sijin. I'm going to tell you the interpretation of the dream. But before I tell you the interpretation of the dream, أَأَرْبَابٌ مُتَفَرِّقُونَ خَيْرٌ أَمِ اللَّهِ الْوَاحِدِ الْقَهَّارِ. Are lots of gods better or Allah, the one, the irresistible? Look at what Yunus did. They asked him for dream interpretation. Before he gives the interpretation of the Yusuf, before he gives the interpretation of the dream, alayhi salam, he gives them da'wah to Islam. Tawheed, one God, worship Him alone. Then he tells them the interpretation of the dream. And this is an excellent example for the Raqi in correcting people's belief. Now, the second topic. وَمَا آتَاكُمُ الرَّسُولُ فَخُذُوهُ وَمَا نَهَاكُمْ عَنْهُ فَانْتَهُوا وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ شَدِيدُ الْعِقَابِ. Whatever the messenger gives you, take it. And whatever he forbids you from, abstain from it. And protect yourselves from the punishment of Allah. Indeed, Allah is severe in punishment. 2 points here that I want to cover. The first thing is, whatever you get from the Sunnah, the closer your Ruqyah gets to the Sunnah, the more powerful it will be. And this is a response. I know I'm on the refutation topic today. It's a refutation and a response to those people who make Ruqyah like the magician's circle. Secret Ruqyah. I will teach you only I have 300 students today, but 10 of them I will teach you the secret Ruqyah. Nobody knows it except you. Private Ruqyah. Secret tricks and tips. La wallah. The closer you get to the Sunnah, the better your Ruqyah will be. And sadly, these words about secret Ruqyah, you hear it from some of the Ruqah upon the Sunnah. You hear it from people who are upon Sunnah. There is one particular, which I will not mention any names, but he gave me so many problems in the UK. Mashakil in the UK. Upon Sunnah. Because he keeps insisting that you can't teach people the Sunnah about Ruqyah. It's a secret, just why you are spreading the secrets. This is a secret, nobody should know it. Do you see anything in those aayaat and ahaadeeth in which the Prophet ﷺ made it secret? No, nothing. Rather, what the messenger gives you, take it. What he leaves, what he forbids you from, abstain from it. Stick to the Sunnah. The closer you are to the Sunnah, the more barakah you will get. Indeed, Allah is severe in punishment to those people who abandon the Sunnah. And shadidul iqab, severe in punishment to those who leave the Sunnah. وما كان لمؤمن ولا مؤمنة إذا قضى الله ورسوله أمرا أن يكون لهم الخيرة من أمرهم ومن يعص الله ورسوله فقد ضل ضلالا مبينا. It's not for a believing man or a believing woman, if Allah and His Messenger decide a matter, that they should have any say. You don't have a choice. The way the Prophet ﷺ did it, that's what you have. You don't have al-khiyara, you don't have a choice. I'll go to this guy, I'll get this, I know it's not really right. Allah. Qur'an and Sunnah. فَلْيَحْذَرِ الَّذِينَ يُخَالِفُونَ عَنْ أَمْرِهِ أَن تُصِيبَهُمْ فِتْنَةٌ أَوْ يُصِيبَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ. Let them take a warning. Those who oppose His command, lest they be afflicted by a fitna or a painful punishment. That is what Allah promises to the one who disobeys the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That Allah will touch him with a fitna, a trial, and a painful punishment. So in everything you do, in Ruqyah, outside of Ruqyah, one of the major ways to accelerate your Ruqyah is what? To adhere to the Sunnah in everything, in the small things, in the big things. To do your best to be from the people of the Sunnah, from Ahl Sunnah, the people of the Sunnah. And the Prophet ﷺ said, "Man ahdatha fi amrina hadha ma laysa minhu fahuwa radd." whoever introduces something into this religion of ours that is not from it, it will be rejected. Very important. Your ruqyah will be rejected if it opposes the sunnah. Now don't get me wrong, how do we reconcile between this and between the hadith? اعرضوا علي رقاكم. Show me your ruqyah. And he permitted whatever is not, whatever does not contain shirk. It is to say this. The Prophet ﷺ gave us a degree of flexibility in what we say in ruqyah as long as it is from the speech of Allah and His names, clearly in a clear language that can be understood, and the person believes that the benefit is coming from Allah. The Prophet ﷺ gave us some flexibility. But He didn't give us infinite flexibility. Put chili powder on the floor. You know, like some people do things that the Hindus do. They put like chili powder on the doorstep. They say, wallah, it's not shirk. But this is from Hinduism. Ikhwan, this is a Hindu belief that chili on the doorstep will stop the jinn from entering the house. This is shirk. Billahi azza wa jal. Making a partner with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. La yahbatanna amaluk. Allah will destroy your deeds. Putting nails in the corner of the room. It's also a polytheistic belief. Polytheistic belief of putting nails in the corner of the room. And wallah, the only people I've ever seen using nails are magicians. And you see some people who are not magicians, they are ignorant Muslims, and they go hammering one nail in the corner of each room, and then they pour Qur'an over it, pour water with Qur'an over it. And this is shirk. It is an act of polytheism. It's from the actions of the non-Muslims and their religious practices. You do not have a chance to do that. Yes, you have a flexibility to say, Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, you know, Ya Mujib. You have some flexibility in what you say. But you don't have flexibility. You can start putting chili on the doorstep and hammering nails in the corner of the room. You don't have that flexibility. As for what is from the point of medicine, you also have flexibility because of the hadith, tadawu wa la tadawu bil haram. Use the medicine, but don't use the medicine which is haram. So oil, honey, milk, al-qist al-hindi, Indian costus, you know, these things that people use. Sidr, sinna, sidr and senna leaves, no problem. This is from the point of medicine. But it's not allowed for a person, wallahi, to start copying the religion of other people and doing their practices in ruqyah. And likewise, the things the ulama have warned against, like making people imagine things. We're going to come to that in the end. Like where you say to the person, imagine now you can see the person who did magic to you. What do they look like? The Lajna Daima have a fatwa that this is seeking help from the jinn. Because the one that makes the person imagine this is the jinn. Lajna Daima, big committee of scholars, they said this is seeking help from the shaitan. And it's not permissible to use. Our Shaykh Ali Tuwaijiri said about it, that if it is aradan, like it's like the person just starts saying something, there's no harm in it. Like the person says, like, you know, you're just talking to someone and they say, like, you can see them and you're like, you're seeing something, and you're like, you can see like they're seeing something. You can see something? They're like, yeah, I can see, I just keep seeing the same person again and again. It's a different topic. But we're talking about here like asking people, you know, hypnotizing people, asking people to imagine things. All of these different, you know, these different evils. And that comes under this hadith, man ahdatha fi amrina hada ma laysa minhu. Bismillah. Excellent. Okay, our next topic. Bear in mind, guys, this is really, all of these are important for the one who is getting stuck. If you're getting stuck in your ruqyah, 99% of the time, the reason you're getting stuck is here, is in these issues. Your belief, your following sunnah, and what is going to come. So please pay attention to that in terms of speeding up your ruqyah and getting a better result. Allah Azza wa Jal said, وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَيُعَلِّمُكُمُ اللَّهُ وَاللَّهُ بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ عَلِيمٌ. And protect yourselves from the punishment of Allah. At-taqwa. وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ. Taqwa. وَيُعَلِّمُكُمُ اللَّهُ. And if you have taqwa, Allah will teach you. Taqwa is to protect yourself from something you're scared of. And taqwa in Islam is to do everything you can to obey Allah and everything you can to avoid disobeying Allah, to do it with the right intention and to do it according to the sunnah. This is taqwa in Islam. Al-amalu bi-ta'ati Allah ala nurin min Allah, raja'a thawabillah, wa tarku ma'asi Allah ala nurin min Allah, makhafata adhabillah. To do as much good as you can and avoid as many sins as you can. And what did Allah say? If you have taqwa, وَيُعَلِّمُكُمُ اللَّهُ. Allah is going to teach you. Allah is going to teach you what you need for your ruqyah. Allah is going to teach you how to get rid of that shaitan. Allah is going to teach you how to get rid of the magic. But you have to have taqwa. وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا. Whoever has taqwa of Allah, Allah will make him a way out. From what? From everything, from anything that is his problem. He's got jinn issues, Allah will make him a way out. He's got sihr, Allah will make him a way out. He's got evil eye, Allah will make him a way out. He's got problems in his business, Allah will make him a way out. Financial issues, Allah will make him a way out. But he has to have taqwa. To do as many good deeds as possible and to avoid as many sins as possible. وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبْ. And provide from him from wherever he cannot imagine. وَمَنْ يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ إِنَّ اللَّهَ بَالِغُ أَمْرِهِ قَدْ جَعَلَ اللَّهُ لِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدَرًا. Couple of points here. Relying upon Allah. At-tawakkul. What is tawakkul in Allah Azza wa Jal? Tawakkul in Allah, the way I would explain it for the purpose of this lecture, is that you do everything that is in your ability, and whatever is out, once you have done what you can, or you're doing whatever you can, you put your trust that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make up for your shortcomings, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will deliver for you the result that you want. So taqwa is not, or tawakkul, is not driving a car without a seatbelt. Because you have not done everything you can do. You have not done what is in your ability. Tawakkul is you put the seatbelt on and you trust Allah is going to keep you safe in your car. That is tawakkul. And the benefit in the ayah as well, قَدْ جَعَلَ اللَّهُ لِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدَرًا, the proper belief in the divine decree. Very important for a person who is doing ruqyah and a person who is having ruqyah done for them, that they have proper belief in al-qadr wal-qada, the divine decree. And I have a lecture on that you can refer to, inshaAllah ta'ala, but just as a note that we need to have proper belief in the divine decree. Allah Azza wa Jal said, إِنَّ عِبَادِي لَيْسَ لَكَ عَلَيْهِمْ سُلْطَانٌ وَكَفَى بِرَبِّكَ وَكِيلًا. Indeed, my believing slaves, you, meaning the shaitan, you here is the shaitan, have no authority over them, and sufficient is your Lord as a guardian. And Allah Azza wa Jal said, إِنَّ عِبَادِي لَيْسَ لَكَ عَلَيْهِمْ سُلْطَانٌ إِلَّا مَنِ اتَّبَعَكَ مِنَ الْغَاوِينَ. Indeed, my believing slaves, you, meaning the shaitan, have no authority over them except those who follow you from those who are astray. We need to stop on here, because these ayat are mahal shubha, a place where people get confused. In fact, these ayat are used by a group of people who say the shaitan cannot possess a person. Or they say the shaitan cannot possess a Muslim. Based on the ayah, Inna ibadi laysa laka alayhim sultan. How are we going to respond to this? I'm not going to spend a long time, just going to give you a few. I've got a full answer on this, but I'm just going to give you like a bullet points. The first thing is, the other aayaat and ahaadeeth clearly indicate that the shaitan can possess a person, and it happened to some of the Sahaba. Such as the hadith in which the Prophet ﷺ said, "Get out, O enemy of Allah, and I am the messenger of Allah." Secondly, what is the meaning of sultan here? And the shaitan cannot make you from the people of hellfire, nor can he make you from the people of Jannah. Yes, the shaitan, like any human being might make you sick, might make you unwell, might give you some problems, but the shaitan cannot control what is going to happen. The shaitan doesn't have authority over you to command you to do this or to do that. And the third thing we can say is some of the ruqah use this ayah as an evidence that the more righteous a person is, the less control the shaitan has over them. And this is, wallahi, I think, in my opinion, this is a reasonable istinbat. It's a reasonable use of proof. That the more obedient a person is to Allah and the more iman a person has, the less control the shaitan will have over them. Some of them said, if you see a patient who is reacting severely to the point where they are like, the shaitan is speaking through them and moving their hands and legs, this is a person who is not mustaqim, is not standing firm upon the religion of Allah Azza wa Jal. I think that's a little bit further than I would say. Like, I feel that statement it's a little bit jari, it's a little bit bold, it's quite an emphatic statement to say anyone who the shaitan speaks through their mouth, know that this is sahib kabira min al-kabair. This person is a person doing the major sins. But I would say less than that. I would not say, this is a statement which is jari, it's brave, it's bold to say. But I would say that if you see a person that the shaitan has a lot of control over them, definitely you need to give more attention to leaving sins. No doubt. And taqwa is leaving sins and doing good deeds. That's why I put it on the same page. So if you see somebody, and that's why with children, you almost never, in all the children I've treated, I can't even think of one where the shaitan spoke through the child and like moved the child's arms and legs. Why? Because the child has no sin. Sometimes it might happen like inadvertently, but if it happens, it will not happen for like where the shaitan is controlling them day in, day out. That's another answer to the sultan thing, by the way, that when a person has jinn possession, they are not under the sultan of the shaitan. Sometimes the shaitan moves their hand and sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes they are themselves and sometimes they are like, so it's back and forward. It's not a constant thing. But you understood, inshallah, the answer to the issue. The people who say there is no jinn possession because of this ayah, this is not true. In fact, the Qur'an and the Sunnah and the consensus of the companions agrees that the jinn possess people. And the second issue is the issue that the more good deeds you do and the less sins you do, the less control the shaitan will have over you. These are like golden nuggets for these are like ingots of gold for like when you have a problem with Ruqyah and people are not getting anywhere and they're like, I've been trying Ruqyah but it's not going anywhere. The Raqi and the one who is being read over, both. The Raqi and the one who is being read over, both of them need to leave their sins. This will make the Ruqyah much more effective. And do we have another dalil? Look at the Sahaba. They read Surah Al-Fatiha, 3 days, person is fine. They read 7 times, the person is fine. Wallahi, the difference between us and them is not what they were reading. We're both reading Surah Al-Fatiha. But the difference is the heart. Look at their hearts and look at our hearts. This is why. We live in a time where there is very little barakah. We live in a time where the barakah is very little, and where the hearts are corrupt, and where people are far away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So don't feel surprised if Ruqyah takes 3 years or 4 years for a person, because we are living in a time of little barakah and a time of the hearts being distant from Allah. And the more you can do to bring yourself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the raqi and the patient, then you will see the speed of the Ruqyah improve greatly. Imran ibn Husayn radiallahu anhu narrated that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, 70,000 of my nation will enter paradise without account. They said, who are they, O Messenger of Allah? He said, they are those who do not seek Ruqyah, nor do they believe in omens, nor do they get cauterized, and upon their Lord they rely. I put this hadith in here for 2 reasons. First of all, the issue of seeking Ruqyah. This hadith indicates that it is better for people not to ask for Ruqyah. This hadith does not say anything about the one who offers Ruqyah. It does not say about the one who does self-Ruqyah. It does not say about the one who sees his wife sick and does Ruqyah over her. This hadith says about the one who goes and says, Ya Abdullah, I need Ruqyah. Will you do Ruqyah for me? That is all the hadith covers. I want you to listen to what the scholars said about this hadith so we don't have a confusion. For some people it is wajib, and you can make a note of this. For some people it is wajib for them to seek Ruqyah. Why is it wajib for them to seek Ruqyah? Because of the principle, مَا لَا يَتِمُّ الْوَاجِبُ إِلَّا بِهِ فَهُوَ wajib. If there is something you need to fulfill an obligation, that becomes an obligation. So you need wudu to be able to pray. So if prayer is obligatory, what is the ruling of wudu? Obligatory. Okay. This person has tried self-ruqyah, they are not getting anywhere. They are not able to pray. They are not able to fast. They are not able to have sabr. They are feeling thoughts of disbelief. Is it wajib for them to remove those thoughts or not wajib? It's wajib. They've tried to do it to themselves, they couldn't do it. So now what is the ruling of them seeking Ruqyah? Wajib. But I want to be from the 70,000. Akhi, you're in a danger of not being from the Muslims, aslan. Yani how you are talking about being from the 70,000? And you are in a state where you are falling out of Islam and you're telling me I want to be from the 70,000 who enter Jannah without hisab and adab. The 70,000 have a position. They are the people of the highest levels of iman. And if you are one of them, may Allah Azza wa Jal make me and you one of them. If you are one of them, then do everything you can to trust in Allah alone and not go to people and ask for anything. But don't just make it Ruqyah. Ruqyah is an example. Don't ask people for money. Don't ask people for help. Don't ask people to pick up your bags. Don't ask people to help you carry things. If you want to be from those people, start being from those people. Say, well, I didn't ask for Ruqyah. Can I be from the 70,000? No. You have to be from the Ashabul Iman Al-Kummal, like the scholars say, the people who fulfill their Iman and their tawakkul in Allah at the highest level. So we all want to be from them and we're striving. But I don't want people to confuse. Like some people will say, I don't ask for Ruqyah. Like I'm not praying, but I'm not asking for Ruqyah so I can be from the 70,000. Like, this is wrong. If you feel the power and the energy that you can trust and do Ruqyah yourself and put your trust in Allah Azza wa Jal, then bi-idhnillahi ta'ala you should do it. But if you need to ask for help, you go and ask for help. Because that is what Allah Azza wa Jal and His Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam commanded us to do. Let's see what the scholars said about this. Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah ta'ala said, that is because these people will enter paradise without being called to account because of the perfection of their tawheed. Perfection of their tawheed. Therefore, he described them as people who did not ask others to perform Ruqyah. Hence, he said, and they put their trust in Allah. Yani, not asking for Ruqyah is an example of complete tawakkul. Because of their complete trust in their Lord, their contentment with Him, their faith in Him, their being pleased with Him, and their seeking their needs from Him, they do not ask people for anything, be it Ruqyah or anything else. and they are not influenced by omens and superstitions. No omens and superstitions that could prevent them doing what they want to do, because superstition detracts from and weakens Tawheed. And the Lajna ad-Da'ima said, what is meant is that they do not ask others to perform ruqyah for them or cauterize them. Rather, they put their trust in Allah and rely on Him to relieve what they are suffering and to ward off what would harm them and to bring what would benefit them. They said, asking others to make dua and asking them to perform ruqyah are permissible, but not doing them and doing them for yourself is better. So also from the 70,000 are those people who do not ask others to make dua for them. Now that doesn't mean you can't ask someone, but they're not frequent in it. If they ask for dua, they ask it in a mas'ala which benefits all of the Muslims. They don't go around to people and every day say, make dua, akhi, wallah, make dua for me. Allah, wallah, I'm sick, akhi, make dua for me. I'm sick, brother, please make dua for me. They are not from the 70,000. The people from the 70,000, it's not just not seeking ruqyah. It's not seeking and asking others for what you can do yourself. And Shaykh bin Baz rahimahullah ta'ala said, this hadith indicates that not asking is better, just as not using cautery is better. But when there is a need for it, there is nothing wrong with asking for ruqyah or using cautery, because the Prophet ﷺ told Aisha to ask for ruqyah. So the Prophet ﷺ told Aisha radiallahu anha to ask for ruqyah. And he told the mother of the children of Ja'far ibn Abi Talib to seek ruqyah for them. Go and ask for ruqyah for them. This indicates there is nothing wrong when there is a need. So the issue all comes down to the issue of need. When there is a need for it, you ask. Like when there's a need for dua, you ask. Like somebody, you see somebody, you believe him to be very pious, Allah only knows. You believe him to be very pious, and you have a need which is beneficial to you and the whole of the Muslims. Say to him, akhi, make dua, may Allah bless you. But you don't go around, it's not your habit that every conversation you finish is make dua for me, do ruqyah for me, please brother, I'm sick, please brother, find someone who will help me. This is something according to need. And Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah ta'ala said, the phrase in the hadith about the 70,000 who will enter paradise without being called to account, that they do not ask for ruqyah, means they do not seek it from others. But the Prophet ﷺ commanded us and taught us to seek treatment. He said, Allah has not created any disease without creating the cure. Some know it and some do not. For this reason, the Prophet ﷺ said, those who do not ask for ruqyah. And he did not say those who do not seek treatment. Seeking treatment is essential, but it's better not to seek ruqyah. However, if a person comes forward and recites something over you, do not stop him. Because this does not mean you are not counted among the people mentioned in the hadith, because you did not ask for ruqyah. By the same token, if you do ruqyah for your brother, you are doing him a favor. This does not exclude you from being from the 70,000. So we say the extra phrase and reported in Sahih Muslim, and they did not do ruqyah, is a dubious addition that is not Sahih. The correct wording of the hadith is, those who do not ask for ruqyah. Doing ruqyah for others, no issue. Getting ruqyah done without asking, no issue. The issue here is begging people and seeking people to do ruqyah for you if you are able to do it yourself. If you're not able to do it yourself and you're not able to have sabr, then it is better for you to ask. In fact, it may be obligatory for you to ask. Also note, guys, in case you're feeling like 70,000 is a bit too few number, how can we be from them? First of all, your aqeedah, right? Have your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If Allah Azza wa Jal wants to make you from them, He will make you from them. The second thing is, there is a hadith with every one of those 70,000, there are 70,000 more. And there is a hadith with every one of the 70,000, there are 70,000 more. Yani 70,000 times 70,000. And in another narration, with every one of them, there are 70,000 more. Yani 70,000 to the power of 3. And the fadl of Allah is wasi'. The grace of Allah is expansive. Don't worry about the grace of Allah Azza wa Jal. You just do your best to have full trust in Allah Azza wa Jal, bi'idhnillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will save you. طيب. The next one. This is one of the most important of those that we're going to talk about. وَالذَّاكِرِينَ اللَّهَ كَثِيرًا وَالذَّاكِرَاتِ أَعَدَّ اللَّهُ لَهُمْ مَغْفِرَةً وَأَجْرًا عَظِيمًا. Those men who remember Allah much and those women who do the same, Allah has prepared for them forgiveness and a great reward. And the statement of Allah Azza wa Jal, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا إِذَا لَقِيتُمْ فِئَةً فَاثْبُتُوا وَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ كَثِيرًا لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ. O you who believe, when you meet a party in battle, be firm. Because Ruqyah is like a battle. We said Ruqyah is a good qiyas upon jihad, and it's like a battle. So when you meet your enemy in battle, what do? فَاثْبُتُوا, be strong. Don't be running away from the jinn. The first time the jinn switches the light off, you run out of the room. Don't be like this. فَاثْبُتُوا, be strong, be firm. وَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ كَثِيرًا, and mention Allah again and again and again, so you can be successful against your enemy. وَقَالَ رَبُّكُمُ ادْعُونِي أَسْتَجِبْ لَكُمْ إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَسْتَكْبِرُونَ عَنْ عِبَادَتِي سَيَدْخُلُونَ جَهَنَّمَ دَاخِرِينَ. And your Lord said, call upon me, I will answer you. Indeed, those who are too proud to worship me will enter Jahannam disgraced. Dhikr, dua, adhkar. Wallahi, it is so important. And there are 4 key things I'm going to give you. Number 1, we're going to divide dhikr into that which is restricted and that which is unrestricted. And that which is restricted, by time, we're going to talk about 4 different places. We're going to talk about after Fajr, we talk about after Asr, after prayer, and before sleep. And we can add to that, we'll put a 5th one, we'll call it circumstantial. Okay? So we have restricted and we have unrestricted dhikr. Restricted means the Sunnah told us a particular time to do it, or a particular number to do it. So in this you have after Fajr, the adhkar of as-sabah. Every raqi, every patient has to do them. Daruri, after Fajr. Likewise after Asr. The scholars differed about the adhkar al-masa, when do they start? But after Asr is ijma'. There is ijma' on after Asr. Meaning that the differences of the scholars, some said from Dhuhr until Maghrib. And some said from Asr until Maghrib. And some said from Asr until Isha. Which is the time that is consensus? Asr. And everyone who spoke about Adhkar al-Masa agreed that Asr is the right time to do them. They disagreed, can you do them before Asr? They disagreed, can you do them after Maghrib? But they all agreed that Asr is the time you can do them. But we say the best time to do the Adhkar al-Masa, the evening Adhkar from Fortress of the Muslim, is after Asr. After prayer, Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhanallah. All of these things, you recite Ayatul Kursi, you recite the 3 Quls. Before sleep, again, go into Hisn al-Muslim, you'll see many adhkar that you can read before going to sleep to protect you before you go to sleep. And circumstantial, by that we mean things that are particular circumstances, like you enter the bathroom, you enter the house, you go out of the house. So when you enter the house, you say, Bismillah, Assalamu alaikum. Not Bismillahi walajna wa Bismillahi kharajna. This is a weak hadith. You say Bismillah, Assalamu alaikum. And even if the house is deserted, you say Assalamu alayna wa ala ibadillahi salihin. You give salam to the people in the house. When you eat, you say Bismillah. If you eat with Bismillah and you enter the house with Bismillah, the shaitan will not stay in your house, nor will the shaitan eat with you. Before you go in the bathroom, before marital intimacy, all of these circumstantial adhkar that you do in certain circumstances. As for unrestricted, you heard the ayat. وَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ كَثِيرًا. Be always remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How many Ruqyah patients actually do this? Allah, so few. They say, I'm doing your Ruqyah program, I'm not getting anywhere. Sometimes the only thing they need is just to increase the adhkar. Maybe they're doing some after Fajr, they're not doing after Asr. They're doing after Fajr, they're doing after Asr, they don't do it before they go to sleep. Or they're doing the restricted adhkar, but they're not doing the unrestricted adhkar. Like they're not constantly making istighfar and asking Allah to keep them safe and asking Allah Azza wa Jal for protection. So this is very, very important. Where can you find these adhkar? Easiest one is Fortress of the Muslim. I believe we have copies at the back which are, I might be on sale or something like that, inshallah. Anyways, we have some copies. There are copies in the KALEMAH, I guess, bookstore. Fortress of the Muslim, very important. Fortress of the Muslim has all of the restricted adhkar in it. Circumstantial after Fajr, after Asr, after prayer, before sleep. It has all of them in it. If you wanted a website, there is a website, duas.com. Be careful to write it down properly, because if you get it wrong, there are other websites with similar names that have not things that are not good on them. Yani. So duas.com has a lot of that on. There's an app which I use, which is again Fortress of the Muslim. It's just Fortress of the Muslim. It's spelled like this, My Dua app. Yani. This one I have on my phone. It's like Fortress of the Muslim. There are others as well. In terms of, there's a nice book by the same author as Fortress of the Muslim, by Sa'id al-Qahtani. And it has a maroon-colored cover. I don't know if we have any here today, but it's available also from Dar es Salaam. And it's called Ruqyah Supplications. I don't know if any of you know that Fortress of the Muslim was originally a book for Ruqyah. This book, Fortress of the Muslim, he wrote it as a book of Ruqyah. Then they said to him, why don't you take out the stuff that is Ruqyah related and just make a one that is just, like for everybody. And that's what Fortress of the Muslim became. But the original one is the book of Ruqyah Supplications by the same author, Sa'id al-Qahtani. And this one also is full of Ruqyah du'as and things like that. But we've got many of them in here, inshallah. Also, you can see my video, which I've mentioned a lot of them in. My video, which is called Simple Self Ruqyah, which is on the KALEMAH UAE YouTube. It's called Simple Self Ruqyah. And it's on the KALEMAH UAE YouTube, and it goes through the different adhkar, and I got them from that book from Sa'id al-Qahtani and from Fortress of the Muslim and other places. So that's also there for you as well. Okay, moving swiftly on because we want to get as much time for Q&A as we can. وَأَيُّوبَ إِذْ نَادَى رَبَّهُ أَنِّي مَسَّنِيَ الضُّرُّ وَأَنْتَ أَرْحَمُ الرَّاحِمِينَ. Here's one of the most beautiful du'as you can make for the afflicted person. أَنِّي مَسَّنِيَ الضُّرُّ وَأَنْتَ أَرْحَمُ الرَّاحِمِينَ. When Ayub called to his Lord, saying, adversity has touched me, and you are the most merciful of the merciful. Oh, by the way, on the dhikr topic, remember to write down in the dhikr notes about dhikr with the heart and the tongue and the limbs, if you didn't write it down this morning. Dhikr with the heart, with the tongue, and with the limbs. We talked about it this morning, inshallah. But those who didn't write it down, you can write it down now. Okay, Ayyub's dua, Anni massani ad-dur wa anta arhamur rahimin. And the dua of the Noon, of Yunus, La ilaha illa anta subhanak inni kuntu min al-zalimin. And the dua of Zakaria, Rabbi la tadharni fardan wa anta khayrul warithin. Three beautiful du'as from Surah Al-Anbiya, all in the same place in Surah Al-Anbiya. And Ayyub, when he called to his Lord, indeed adversity has touched me, and you are the most merciful of the merciful. First of all, what happened to Ayyub? Massani ash-shaytan binusbin wa adab. The shaitan made him sick. This is very important, ikhwan. The shaitan made Ayyub sick. as a test from Allah Azza wa Jal. What does that tell you? That ruqyah and this dua is effective specifically, and it's effective for everybody, but especially for those who are sick because of the shaitan. Jinn, sihr, similar things. Wiswas, things like that. Because Ayyub, as Allah Azza wa Jal describes, مَسَّنِي الشَّيْطَانِ بِنُصْبٍ وَعَذَابٍ. The shaitan is the one who made him sick. So it's very important that you can use this dua. And then Noon, when he said, there is no deity. First of all, Allah said, we responded to him and we removed adversity from him and we gave him back his family and the like thereof as a mercy from us and a reminder for the worshippers. And then Noon, what was his dua? La ilaha illa anta subhanak inni kuntu min al-zalimin. This is a dua of tawbah and a dua of begging Allah Azza wa Jal that, oh Allah, I've made a mistake, I've made sins. Oh Allah, save me from my distress, forgive me my sins. Beautiful dua based upon Tawheed, La ilaha illallah. What did Allah say? We responded to him and saved him from distress. And like this, we will save the believers. Allah promised you, He will save you when you make the same dua. And Zakaria, when he made his dua, رَبِّ لَا تَذَرْنِي فَرْدًا وَأَنْتَ خَيْرُ الْوَارِثِينَ. Oh Allah, don't leave me without a child, and you are the best of inheritors. This particularly for the people who can't have children, or the people whose children are sick and they fear that their children might pass away from this dunya. This is a beautiful dua. رَبِّ لَا تَذَرْنِي فَرْدًا. Oh Allah, don't leave me alone without any children. And you are the best of the inheritors. But this is what we want here. فَاسْتَجَبْنَا لَهُ وَوَهَبْنَا لَهُ يَحْيَى وَأَصْلَحْنَا لَهُ زَوْجَهُ إِنَّهُمْ كَانُوا يُسَارِعُونَ فِي الْخَيْرَاتِ وَيَدْعُونَنَا رَغَبًا وَرَهَبًا وَكَانُوا لَنَا خَاشِعِينَ. Very important, guys. In fact, this is telling you why their dua was answered and why your dua was not answered. Allah Azza wa Jal is giving you a comprehensive answer on why the Prophet's dua was answered. They used to hasten to do good deeds. They used to supplicate in hope and fear, not just hope, but also fear of Allah Azza wa Jal. And they were humbly submissive to Allah. If you get that in your dua will be answered like their dua was answered. So this is one of the etiquettes of dua, that you hasten to do good deeds, that you supplicate to Allah in hope and fear, and you submit yourself, that you have khushu', your heart is attached to your dua.